Coming up next on This Week in Torrance.
An assemblyman from the South Bay makes a stop to celebrate a big milestone.
And the Torrance Police Department participates in a relay race, earning top honors.
Then after a year of hard work, a local brewery is finally serving up some tasty beer.
Plus, we have a special guest in studio to talk about National Nutrition Month. These stories and much more are just seconds away.
Your local news starts right now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Week in Torrance. I'm Jin Chun.
And I'm Ben McCain. Thanks for joining us. Here are your top stories. After the tragic events in Belgium, President Barack Obama announced a proclamation asking all city flags to be lowered to half staff until sunset on March 26th.
The flags in front of Torrance City Hall, the Torrance Police and Fire Departments, along with all public grounds, were lowered to honor the victims of the attacks in Brussels.
A state leader from the South Bay celebrates a recent victory with the special needs community at Harbor Regional Center here in Torrance. Parents, community members, and Harbor Regional Center staff all came together to host a meet and greet with Assemblyman David Hadley, who represents District 66, which covers the South Bay area. Parents of children with learning disabilities thanked Hadley for his support for places like the Harbor Regional Center that provides quality services and information for people with developmental disabilities. Hadley also talked about the budget within our state and says this event was a special one.
Just a couple of weeks ago, the California State Legislature approved the first increase in reimbursement for the developmental disability services delivered in California in over 10 years.
The event also celebrated the 50th anniversary of the Lanternman Act, a state law that created public services for the developmentally disabled.
I just think it's important for people to get a chance to talk, and they're now having like one-on-one conversations, getting to know him, and see who it is that's standing up for them in Sacramento.
The event was also an opportunity to honor local media, including the Daily Breeze, for their coverage and exposure on issues the developmentally disabled communities face.
A hot topic of minimum wage is now set to appear on the November election ballot. A proposal to raise California's minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2021 was approved after the initiative received 400,000 signatures. The measure would raise wages by $1 each year until reaching $15 in 2021. California's current minimum wage is one of the highest in the nation at $10 an hour. The measure would boost the current minimum wage to $11 an hour in 2017. The California Chamber of Commerce said earlier this month that it would oppose any statewide ballot initiative for a $15 minimum wage, arguing it would create new costs for local and state governments as well as businesses.
City staff is moving forward with plans to light up the skies come July 4th. The council unanimously approved the city to notify surrounding residents that may be impacted by any firework celebrations. The mayor recently announced the comeback of July 4th fireworks to Torrance. During the meeting, city staff told council members they plan to send out a public notice to residents within 1,000 feet of the Civic Center where the fireworks will be released. A web page was also launched to offer more information to the community, as well as a link to a survey for community feedback. Other information includes details on how to get free tickets to view the fireworks show from the Toyota Sports Complex. For nearly 30 years, the city of Torrance hosted a show, but it was stopped in 2011 due to high cost. To stay informed or get the conversation started, you can go to torranceca.gov/fireworks.
And a long-awaited public hearing has been pushed back to early April. The South Coast Air Quality Management Board rescheduled its public hearing to April 2nd. The hearing is in regards to ExxonMobil's fluid catalytic cracking unit, which plays a vital role in producing gasoline. The local refinery planned to start up activities on this piece of equipment on March 15th, but were delayed. Now, once it starts working, officials say it will take 35 days, including a 15-day period in which Exxon must show the unit is fully operational before transferring ownership of the facility to PBF Energy. Most recently, the refinery faced a flaring event due to a power outage. We will have the full hearing on our Torrance CitiCABLE YouTube page after the event.
Torrance Transit riders will soon have the chance to travel to downtown Los Angeles more often. At the most recent City Council meeting, the Transit Line 4 Enhancement Project design was unanimously approved. The department revealed information they learned through public hearings they hosted recently. The new proposal shows changes made based off community feedback. Many Torrance riders asked for an increase of route frequencies as well as eliminated local Line 4. The community also expressed interest in having more rides to downtown Los Angeles. Their final proposal will take the current Line 4 and name it Line 4X. It will give riders a chance to use the route on peak hours during the weekday in the morning and evening from PCH and Hawthorne to downtown Los Angeles in both directions. It will have a frequency of 20 to 30 minutes. Secondly, Transit proposed that the line will go from the same stops to downtown between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. on Saturday every 60 minutes. The rides to downtown would cost only $2. Most of the funding will come from the Enhanced Service Hot Express Lanes grant program. Currently, Transit offers 9 trips daily to downtown Los Angeles.
The Torrance Police Department is asking for the community's help in a fatal hit-and-run accident. Police continue to look for the driver who hit and killed 28-year-old David Kane. The incident occurred on March 1st in the 4800 block of Pacific Coast Highway in Torrance. The driver involved fled the scene, and authorities say they now have more details on the suspect's vehicle. It's being described as a 2007 to 2009 Toyota Camry with front end damage. While they don't have a color, they say there are 2 car parts that were involved. The front emblem and the driver's side fog lamp insert will be missing or has been recently replaced. For more information, you can contact Torrance Police at 310-618-5560.
Torrance police officers took on the heat and broke a sweat for a competitive relay race. Team Torrance brought home the win as they placed number 1 in the 300 division of the Baker to Vegas relay race. They placed 12th overall out of 272 teams. The relay race is a one-of-a-kind competition bringing together law enforcement divisions from across the country. Officers race on foot from Baker, California to Las Vegas. The 120-mile run has 20 legs with an elevation change of approximately 6,600 feet. The total of 270 law enforcement teams took part this year.
The city is calling on all artists looking for funding to support their craft. The Torrance Cultural Arts Commission announced they received funds for the Community Arts Grant Program for art organizations and artists. The grant program supports and helps make art projects and related programs accessible in the city of Torrance. $5,000 is available to support the development and presentation of programs and projects in the visual, performing, and literary arts that take place between July 1st, 2016 and June 30th, 2017. The Cultural Arts Commission encourages and promotes live cultural presentations for Torrance residents and surrounding cities. Applications are due by May 6th. You can download the form by visiting torranceca.gov/TCAC.
A hot topic will be addressed once again at a tree ordinance meeting this week as the design committee tries to find a common ground for residents who've been pushing to keep their beach views. Torrance CitiCABLE reporter Hiba Samad has the story.
They're way down there. They're probably 6 or 8 feet below what we see, plus this.
For the past 7 years, these giant trees have become a looming wall Judy English is still trying to get used to.
We have no view. It affects we have no sunsets. We have limited sky. We don't have full ocean weather.
English remembers when she had a view like this, but it was soon short-lived as her neighbor decided to plant these.
Very large planters of baby trees coming in, over 200 of them. I couldn't even believe, why would you plant 200 trees? I was totally naive.
Views blocked by beautiful vegetation has been an ongoing divide among neighbors living on the hill.
I want to compromise. He has a right to have trees. He bought a lot with trees. We bought a lot with some view. Just get them lower so that when we or a subsequent owner put a second story on, they still have their 360-degree view. We still have the value that we paid for.
The city of Torrance currently has an ordinance in place where views are protected from new building projects. Councilman Mike Griffiths, who is also the committee chair for the group crafting the ordinance, says it hasn't been an easy task.
We can't have the city spend a huge amount of resources handling these type of neighborly battles. It's a very expensive process trying to figure out, who's right, who's wrong, how much should be done, who should do it, who should pay for it. It's a very difficult process.
A battle that has been fought by neighbors for the past 10 years. Councilman Griffith says they're trying to make people from both sides of the issue happy.
A lot of people want the plants and vegetation for privacy reasons, so that people can't see in their backyard, and they would like to have the privacy of their own yard and not have somebody looking down into their backyard. So that's been the battle.
For residents like Judy English, she hopes the ordinance will help implement a type of structure so residents living in this area can find a common ground.
Those lower power lines, that's about where the trees were. So the views were utterly spectacular. My biggest issue at this point in time is hoping that there may be some neighbors that don't want to do this.
Torrance resident Michael Bay has asked his neighbors to cut down their treetops so he can keep the beautiful beach views, and has even paid for it to be done.
The point of living in a neighborhood is to share and get to know your neighbors and enjoy the experience of having good neighbors.
And as the committee gets closer to finalizing an ordinance, residents like Judy English can't wait for the future.
When it becomes real, which I hope is this year, yes, we're going to have a party. Don't know where, but we'll invite you.
For Torrance City Cable, I'm Hiba Samad.
Thanks, Hiba. We'll bring you updates following the tree ordinance meeting.
A coffee giant is making sure those in need don't go hungry. Starbucks announced a new initiative where uneaten fruit, cheese boxes, and much more will be picked up from stores with a refrigerated truck at the end of each day and redistributed to food banks. It has partnered with Food Donation Connection and the nonprofit Feeding America to meet its goal. According to the USDA, 14% of the households in the country are food insecure, meaning at some point in the year they don't have enough food to feed their family. Now, Starbucks' program, now called Food Share, was inspired by an employee. Feeding America says nearly 70 billion pounds of food is wasted in the United States every year. Starbucks hopes to provide 5 million meals to families, and by 2021, they hope to have a 100% donation rate at all of their locations across the country.
A new study is showing that millennials have a lot to look forward to. NerdWallet.com says that even though millennials feel they can't afford owning a home right now, they desire the stability and freedom that homeownership has. Many are worried they won't qualify for an affordable loan. NerdWallet, a personal finance website, looked at a number of surveys and data from government agencies and a Fannie Mae survey, which showed that 57% of young renters cited financial reasons for not buying a home. But it showed that they do want to own a home at some point. Despite these financial roadblocks, the study says that millennials are not facing large amounts of debt, and that despite student loans, the more education a consumer has, the more likely he or she will be able to own a home. Well, still ahead, a local headquartered car company in Torrance gives back to teachers in a very special way.
Plus, the newest brewery in town has its taps pouring for beer lovers. We'll take you there.
But first, here's a look at your 5-day forecast.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
Toyota Financial employees were busy packing totes for teachers. Nearly 300 Toyota employees recently put together 2,400 kits for teachers at 57 schools in appreciation for their devotion to helping children across the school district. Team members packed classroom supplies in a tote with a water bottle, first aid kit, tissue box, Post-it notes, to name a few, along with a thank you note from a TFS team member. But they didn't just stop there. All the bags were personally delivered to schools, including West High School here in Torrance. This picture was posted on their Twitter page. Toyota officials say this is the second year they are hosting this type of event, and it has grown to help 1,000 local teachers to 7,500 nationwide. More than 20 Toyota Financial Services offices throughout the country participated. Items were selected based on research on what items are most requested and needed by teachers in the classroom.
A Torrance officer was given the honor of a hometown hero recently. Officer Chung Vo from the Torrance Police Department was recognized by the American Red Cross at its 12th annual Hometown Hero Awards for saving a life while off duty. In January, Vo was taking his child to school when he was approached by a mother about a situation near a building. He was told that there was a man lying on the ground next to a planter. He soon found out the man had suffered a heart attack and was not breathing. Vo immediately checked for vitals and began CPR. Soon the man was breathing and was taken to a hospital. The event was organized by the Los Angeles region's Long Beach, Rio Hondo, and South Bay chapters.
Dozens of people came out in hopes of saving a life. The Torrance YMCA South Bay hosted a blood drive with the American Red Cross. Last year alone, it helped save nearly 69 lives. Blood donors can give blood every 56 days.
I think why wouldn't you do it? I think everybody should at least give. If they're able to give, they should definitely give. It feels really great afterwards.
It is important because there is a shortage of blood out there, and there are many, many people who get in accidents or things happen where they have needs that they need to have blood and they're not available to have.
All participants received a discounted ticket offer to an Anaheim Ducks game at the Honda Center and an LA Kings game at the Staples Center.
It's your last chance to view art from two local college professors at one of the busiest airports in the world. Travelers can stop by Los Angeles International Airport's temporary art exhibits and installations to check out artwork by El Camino professors Joyce Dalal and Randall von Bloomberg. It will be on display only until March 31st. Dalal's work graces the atrium at Terminal 3 with two bird-like formations of paper airplanes suspended in flight. They are handmade from Japanese paper and imprinted with excerpts from the 3rd and 4th Geneva Conventions. Von Bloomberg's art is on view for ticketed passengers ready to depart in Terminal 7 and 8. His art expresses the appreciation of reality within each single moment of life. It's called Tathata, and it shows urban landscape in particular. The City of Torrance is calling on all residents to make sure their children are safely secured while on the road. At the most recent City Council meeting, Mayor Patrick Fury proclaimed that April 3rd through the 9th will be named Safety Seat Checkup Week. The #1 preventable cause of death and injuries to children and young adults are car accidents. More than 90 children under 15 are killed and more than 10,000 are injured in collisions throughout California each year. Officials say that more than 90% of child safety seats are used incorrectly. The law in California states that children are required to be buckled in a booster seat until they are at least 8 years old. A spokeswoman from Safety Belt Safe USA says a seat belt and proper use of a booster seat saved her child's life.
I actually saved the life of my 4-month-old daughter. We were in a severe collision, side impact, and if my daughter hadn't been properly restrained in her rear-facing car seat, she might not be here.
On April 9th, Safety Belt Safe USA will host a free safety belt check at the Peterson Auto Museum in Los Angeles. It's free to the public. You can add one more to the growing list of new stores opening on the Boulevard. An 83,000 square foot Dick's Sporting Goods will be joining the newly renovated Del Amo Fashion Center. It will be a 2-level location. Dick's Sporting Goods is the largest authentic full-line sporting goods retailer in the United States, offering brand new equipment, apparel, and footwear. It will be located in the south portion of the center on the 2nd and 3rd floors of the former Macy's. But that's not all. The Del Amo Fashion Center recently finished renovating the south portion of the mall from Carson Street to Sears. This includes dramatic changes to the mall entrances, tile flooring, painting, LED lighting, and clear glass handrails. More amenities will come this summer. A mall spokesperson says the south portion will now complement the ambiance of the Del Amo Fashion Center's new fashion wing north of Carson Street. Dick's is scheduled to open in the spring of 2017.
The newest brewery to hit the town is now bustling with customers. Shoal Premium Ales recently had its soft opening. They plan to be open every weekend until their official grand opening ceremony in April. So far on tap, beer enthusiasts can taste SoCal Blonde, Roll With It Brown, Bat Ray Red IPA, and even a Have Another Session IPA. It took the brewery nearly 1 year to open shop, and the owners say they are excited to finally do business in Torrance. Scholb comes from the two last names of the founding business partners, Kolb and Schultz. These two South Bay couples have been longtime friends who share a passion for producing great beer. They are located at 2964 Columbia Street near Maple Avenue. Scholb says they will release a newsletter weekly with updates. Just go to drinkscholb.com for more information.
And a cold drink sounds good with some barbecue-style dishes. Well, King's Hawaiian has you covered. They announced a brand new product line of 4 Hawaiian-inspired barbecue sauces. The company says they hope families will use their sauces to give recipes a kick of flavor. It includes the original sweet pineapple, smoked bacon, Big Island lava, and Kona coffee flavors. The pineapple sauce has a tangy twist, while the coffee is said to enhance the natural flavors of barbecued meat. You can get your hands on them right now on kingshawaiian.com. They will be available at selected retailers this summer.
Toyota shows off their newest production at the New York International Auto Show. The Prius Prime is a new plug-in hybrid car that will get 120 or more miles per gallon equivalent. It also has the highest MPGe rating of any plug-in hybrid. 2 years ago, Toyota ended production of its previous Prius plug-in hybrid car. The new Highlander also made its debut with a larger front grille, new engine, and transmission. But another headquartered Torrance car brand was a showstopper. Honda showed off its second-generation Clarity fuel cell sedan. It featured advanced driving assistance systems and a new infotainment interface that includes Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Well, still ahead, we have a local nutritionist that will talk to us about savoring flavors in your kitchen.
And the one and only Colin Kushner has some sporting news coming right up.
We'll have that and much more still ahead, but first, here's a current look at the weather outside.
If you could see anything in the world, what would it be?
I'd love to see Paris.
I like to see cupcakes falling from the sky.
To save your vision in the years ahead, call your eye doctor for a comprehensive eye exam today. Then call 1-800-437-2423 or log on to seeabettertomorrow.org to learn about glaucoma and macular degeneration.
I just want to see more of the things I love.
Welcome back. Today we have a special guest with us, registered dietitian for the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. Vandana Sheth is here. Vandana, thanks so much for joining us. Now this month, March, is National Nutrition Month. Tell us what that means to our community.
Yes, so the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics this year has decided the theme is Savor the Flavor of Eating Right. And what that really means is 3 things. First, yes, we still need to enjoy a wide variety of foods. We need to enjoy colorful fruits and vegetables,
Sure.
whole grains, lean protein, and either dairy or dairy alternatives to meet our nutritional needs. But second, and even more importantly, the goal is to really savor the flavor of our foods. And an easy way to do that is to add flavors like herbs and spices into our cooking and cutting back on the salt, sugar, and added fats in our diet. And third, finally, is really to celebrate our family traditions
Sure.
and take time to enjoy the social experience of eating right.
It's almost like a lifestyle shift or a change because we're so busy. You've got your sons in high school running off to the next thing and the next thing. It's really a shift of the dynamic of changing how you eat and spending a little extra time to enjoy and sit down and enjoy the meal.
Absolutely. You know, it takes about 20 minutes for our brain to connect and figure out that we're actually satisfied. So really that time to sit down and savor food not only is pleasurable, we connect with our family or friends, but we're also getting satisfied better.
Sure, and you've brought some really great herbs here from the Torrance Farmers Market. We've got mint and basil and garlic over here and cinnamon. Tell us, how do we incorporate these amazing, the smell here is amazing today. How do we incorporate this into our daily diet?
You know, herbs and spices are a wonderful way of adding that flavor and spice to our life and food. Sometimes people can get overwhelmed when they see a wide array of spices and herbs, but start simple. So something like garlic is so easy to incorporate. You can either get it fresh that you can mince up, or you can get the dry powder, add it to your soups, to your pasta, even to vegetables. It really perks things up, and it's easy.
And one thing you had mentioned earlier was to be really mindful about garlic salt versus garlic powder, because it looks almost identical, correct?
So true. So when you're picking up herbs, especially the dried, make sure you read the label. Are you getting actually the herb or spice, or are you getting added salt? Because your goal is trying to cut back on the salt. You don't want to get the garlic salt in place of garlic.
And another thing, I know some of our chefs from our community cooking show have mentioned, dried spices are a lot more concentrated, so you don't have to use as much as you would a raw herb or spice, right?
So true. And so that's why when you're doing recipes, make sure you're reading the recipe carefully, whether it calls for a dried or a fresh ingredient. And when you do fresh ingredients, especially transitioning to herbs like basil, really the aroma releases so well, you want to add it to the last, as part of the last process in your cooking, as a garnish or just as a topping to your salads, in your sandwiches. That's an easy way of incorporating that flavor.
And you said with cinnamon, you can add that into your breakfast. How do you normally do that with cinnamon?
Cinnamon is so easy. You can just take a spoon of it and sprinkle it on your oatmeal or any cold cereal. You could add it into your smoothie. You could add it into your yogurt. Or I like adding it to my coffee or tea. It gives me that sweet-smelling spice without added sugar.
And you said a really great sort of thing that you use for when your kids are sick. You use cinnamon with turmeric and milk.
Right. So I actually use turmeric. Turmeric is an anti-inflammatory powder. It has many great properties. And so just warming some milk up, adding some turmeric, and if they like it a little sweet, go ahead and add a little honey. And that combination is really going to be soothing to their throat. It's going to feel good. You can call it golden milk, so it sounds more fun.
It's another great way to incorporate a spice that normally children may not know how to use, how to really enjoy turmeric, but you kind of hide it in there.
Exactly. Or you can even add turmeric to your vegetables and add that golden color to it. Or if you're making eggs, just add a little turmeric to it. It's going to enhance that natural yellow color in the cholesterol.
And all of our viewers can check out our community cooking shows. You can watch it online, check out all of these great recipes that we have that incorporate a lot of these herbs and spices that you can find at the Torrance Farmers Market. So Vandana, what is the big takeaway today?
The biggest takeaway is to remember that the how, why, and where we eat is just as important as what we eat, and to develop a mindful eating pattern. And that's the way to savor the flavor of eating right.
Sure.
And a registered dietitian can help.
Always a pleasure to have you here in the studio. For more information, you can go to vandanachef.com. Well, still ahead, we have some events across town you won't want to miss.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, pet them, care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture, you can jump, yell, you can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. 'Cause we're connected.
Welcome back, everybody. Here's what's going on in the area. The Torrance Area Chamber of Commerce is hosting a unique event at Vic's Garage on Wednesday, March 30th, starting at noon. During this luncheon, people will get to hear Edelbrock's inspiring story about how he started his business in Torrance. And your local law enforcement will be fundraising money for Tip a Cop by serving as host and waiters at Lazy Dog Cafe at the Delamo Fashion Center on March 30th. It starts at 5 p.m. and will go until 9 p.m. All tips received will be donated to Special Olympics Los Angeles and San Gabriel Valley region. Plus, the Torrance YMCA South Bay is hosting a night in Paris, an opportunity for some father and daughter bonding time. The dance is open to the community and starts at 6 p.m. You can register now. Well, that does it for us on This Week in Torrance. I'm Ben McCain. If you've missed any portion of our show, you can catch us again at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m.
And I'm Jin Chun. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.